This is Hollywood. This broadcast marks our second anniversary of bringing you current cinema reviews in this fashion. That's right, 2 years now. And boy, we're delighted. On behalf of our editor, camera operator, and post-production artist, Chad E. Williams, we offer our thanks to you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the main event. The Weinstein Company throws another boxing movie into the cinema genre with Southpaw, directed by Anton Fuqua and starring Jake Gyllenhaal as Billy Hope, a boxer starting at the top of his game with a gigantic mansion, a beautiful wife, a lovely daughter, and all the trappings of the nouveau riche, including a slimy business manager. A series of events throw him down for the count as one blow after another in his own personal life destroys his surroundings and family. Following a charity event, he loses his wife in a tragic accident, and even before he begins to understand what is happening, his business manager moves in to play on his confused state and take advantage of him.
Look, I'm not going to pretend I know the pain you're going through, but I do know for you, to get through it, you're going to have to get back in that ring.
No, Mo doesn't want me to sign that.
No, Mo didn't want you to sign it then. Now she would want you to actually sign the contract.
Why you say that?
Billy, every time I seen you fight, you climbed in there alone. Every time you bled your blood. When you sat down on that stool and it felt like death and you thought you couldn't get up, but you got up, you did that. You need to get back to that. You want Layla to grow up the way you grew up? You want her in the streets? It's a 3-fight deal, bud. Got to get back to doing what we do, man.
Curtis Jackson there, known in the music world as 50 Cent, playing Jordan Maines, an unscrupulous manager who thinks if it makes money, it must be right. He's always the backer of the guy who's on top. It is only the beginning of misfortunes for Boxer Billy, whose daughter is removed from his custody by court order. She's played by a very delightful young lady, Miss Una Lawrence. Their separation is the biggest blow of all, and at the very core of his motivation to climb out of his hell. His house and cars are repossessed, his assets frozen, and he's left on the street to begin again. Motivated to avenge his wife's death and be allowed to live again with his daughter, he seeks out a famous boxing coach, Tick Wills, played by Forrest Whitaker, in a very humble and tough section of the inner city. There, at a small and careworn gymnasium which Wills runs, he takes the job of cleaning up the place to cover the cost of his membership and to begin training for his return to greatness. Following a small exhibition fight for a charity, the slimy Jordan Maines returns offering a contract to fight the man Billy holds responsible for the death of his wife. And the motivation to return to the glossy world of big-time fighting proves too much to resist. But he doesn't want to do it alone. He insists that Wills be his trainer.
All I need is 6 weeks. I need 6 weeks. I'll give you my everything. You get my everything. This is about my family. I can't lose my daughter.
Forrest Whitaker there with Jake Gyllenhaal. Whitaker is always good in just about all he does, and here he's at the center of this movie, offering the foundation for Billy to begin again. This riches to rags bout, with a fighter starting at the top of his game and spiraling downwards, is nicely made to make audiences happy, with beautiful lighting and color design. It plays on the emotions, and there's not a dry eye in the house when the father and daughter are separated by the judge. I asked Jake Gyllenhaal what was it about this movie story that appealed to him the most.
I think a number of things. Two things in particular appealed to me about making this movie. One was a story about having to fight the system, having to be your best self, ask yourself questions internally, dig deep, and say, how do I overcome situations that are where everything feels like it's asking me and telling me to fail. And that idea, and seeing how this character fights through all that, was a beautiful idea and something that I thought was a beautiful part of the story and something I wanted to tell. The other thing that was really beautiful to me about this story, and is this idea of family and everything that you sacrifice for your family, to be a father, to learn how to be a good father. And that, to me, moved me more than anything. I mean, the relationship with father and daughter in this movie is incredibly powerful and incredibly moving. It moved me in the script, and it moves me even now when I watch the movie.
Thanks, Mr. Gyllenhaal. In spite of excellent visuals, the picture reworks many old plot ideas that have been seen in boxing movies in the past, introduced again into this storyline, perhaps for young people that may have never seen a boxing movie before. There were some surprising continuity errors here and there, but they will not affect the crowd-pleasing emotional tugs well handled by the director. Miss Rachel McAdams, featured in the early part of the movie, lights up the screen beautifully with her singular personality. She plays the boxer's wife. I loved her in Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris and wished that her part might have lasted longer here. She's memorable in her brief screen time. The movie's credit crawl begins with the title card in memory of the film's composer, James Horner, who died in an airplane crash last June. However, it is not the last of his scores that you may hear, as he'd composed music for 3 more productions which have yet to be released. Overall, this is going to do well with audiences, but I was not overly impressed. As always, I leave it for you to decide. The round is over. The Motion Picture Association of America has given this an R rating. This is your pal, Matías Bombal, bidding you a fond farewell.